You're listening to Chunktober from Two Chunks and Hunk. Razor claws and gnashing teeth, eyes that burn with hell's heat, climbing to the world above to drink their fill of human blood. Listener, make your final stand, for the hour of monsters is at hand. You can't hide and you can't flee the creatures of Chunktober III.
And welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I am your chunk.
I'm Doge, and you are dimwits right to the end. I'll see you in Chunk.
Got him.
And I'm Carter, and what would you like to eat? Chunk. Hunk. A cold hunk.
Very
a cold
good.
hunk.
Why? I bet he was for a little bit.
I bet he was a cold hunk.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Tell us.
I messed up my quote a little bit there because I got some of that fog,
that brain
fog.
fog.
The fog. I think a lot of feedback we got on some of people's favorite things about Two Chunks in the last 5 years. The things I didn't share were just a lot of things specifically about me, and I don't want to, change the trajectory of your day or anything like that. But for a long time, people have said that I'm kind of the Daniel Day-Lewis of the podcast.
Yeah, I've heard that.
In that I just kind of in preparation for the movies that we're gonna talk about, I really immerse myself in those experiences. And so,
See, I've always heard the Jared Leto of the podcast for that same reason.
Okay, that's fine. I had COVID. I just basically tested. I tested negative for the first time a couple of days ago.
Wow.
Had COVID for the first time. It got me for the first time.
Oh, feels like the first time. I always
Feels
say
like the
that.
first time. I hadn't had it before. But, Sleepy
Did you love
Joe
it?
found a way.
Yeah, what do you think?
Sleepy
And-
Joe found a way.
I've heard he's been coming into people's houses like Santa Claus and giving them COVID. And that sucks, honestly. In election season, I can't believe he would do something like that.
I know. It's pretty bad. But
I love this game that we're playing. It's called Just Keep Them Guessing. What are their political leanings? Nobody could ever know.
what are
Nobody
they
could ever
doing?
know.
Yeah, you don't know. You may never know.
So what do you think of COVID? I mean, do you get the hype
think it's
around
real.
it? You get why people are like psyched about this stuff?
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Yeah,
What's your
Chelsea had it
smell
too.
like?
Huh?
How's your smell?
Can you
It's
smell?
fine. I did not have a serious case of COVID. It was minor. And
You didn't
Chelsea's
go.
was
You didn't
too.
go all in for the deluxe package.
We both had COVID at the same time, so I heard that there's some.
That's romantic.
There's some like, I guess it's good to not have it spread out,
Yeah.
more than that allotted amount of time. Chelsea had a little bit worse, but I've got, I don't know, my immune system is steel,
I've always
I gotta get
felt
through
that. Like,
Here's a funny story. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say you seem healthier than Chelsea overall. Anytime I'm around both of you, I'm like, he probably wouldn't get hit as hard.
Yeah,
That's
he's
why
the
her name's
healthy one.
Chelsea and not healthy.
Yeah.
That's it. Chelsea is actually the old original Gaelic term, the word for healthy. Is Chelsea. We had some friends at the time. I had COVID and I didn't know it, but Tuesday morning is when I tested. But on Monday we had some friends come over and they brought the PK chip, the one chip challenge chip, which is this blue chip.
That's my favorite picture of you, by the way.
I look like how I felt like, which was this might be my
Jordan,
last photo.
have you seen this picture?
I have not.
I didn't know my tongue. I was trying so hard to make sure my tongue was out because I couldn't feel my face. But I did this chip.
Absolutely
It is. I've done hot ones. I've done the lineup of sauces.
Yeah.
The last dab, which is the hottest sauce, is in my fridge.
Is it worse than that?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was terrified. At one point, I said, I need to go outside. I might vomit. I thought I was going to puke and I didn't. But I had cold sweats, and then I felt like, have you ever had a nice first gulp of cold water that you can just feel it go down your throat, into your tummy, all the way down to your tummy?
That's such a good feeling.
This was fire. I felt it. I felt its movement into my belly.
Oh, no.
And I thought I was about to be a proud Charmander Papa within minutes.
Were you? Were you?
I certainly was. You could hear this. You could hear it hit.
Ooh.
That steam. But got over that. I also had COVID at the time, so maybe that's what killed a lot of
maybe
what could have been as bad of an experience as my wife had. But I'm here today. I was, in essence, the title of this movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the one chip gave you COVID. That's what you're saying. That's what you want people to take away.
Yeah, don't
from
do the
this.
one chip challenge. There's COVID.
It will give you COVID.
There's COVID in it. Yeah. The challenge is not getting COVID, apparently.
Yeah. It was tough. I would not recommend it. And I found out that this is popular for like the kids are doing this one chip challenge and being hospitalized.
Yep.
Well,
and people didn't tell me that until after I ate it.
You know what chips is an anagram for, or is an acrostic for?
Tell me about it. Kids.
COVID
hospital.
hiding in plain sight,
Dude, that's...
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's just...
We cracked it here.
It's right there, man.
Wow. Do you think now we'll finally overtake Joe Rogan? Now that we are breaking COVID
now that we're
news?
the conspiracy guys? Yeah.
Yes, that's us.
We
did it, y'all.
We beat COVID.
We beat
Spotify
COVID.
by our podcast.
Take my podcast, please. Well, now seems like as good a time as any to start talking about a movie.
Let's do it.
I
once.
suppose. It's our third movie in our Chunktober III Threeture series. And this one comes to us from across the pond.
Mini ponds.
Couple
Or
different
one
ponds.
very large ocean.
Comes to us. Why don't they just say that? I've always wondered that. Why don't they just say comes to us from across the Atlantic Ocean specifically?
Yeah. It's because those Brits, they're trying to make it they're full of whimsy and it sucks.
They are. Yeah. They're leaking whimsy.
This movie comes to us from across the pond, and it is this one's a Bong Joon-ho joint.
Yeah, it is.
Big Bong
This one
Joon-ho
is.
guy.
And it is known as The Host. And Doge, I'm going to need you to give us a synopsis
A Bob Barker origin story.
so that we may speak of this movie.
This week's IMDb synopsis has no author,
Yeah.
which of course means it's sprung fully formed from the Han River, ready to consume everyone.
Hungry.
An American military base of Yongsan releases toxic chemicals in the drain to the Han River under the direct order of an arrogant U.S. Army coroner. 6 years later, a mutant squid monster leaves the water and attacks people on the side of the river.
That's it, huh?
Hank, did you want more? Did you want more from that?
Yeah.
It's a good synopsis then. It leaves you wanting more.
Leaves
Don't
you
give him,
wanting
don't give him
more.
all the synopsis for free. You got to watch the movie to find out what happens next.
That's right, I guess.
Anybody else not get squid from that monster?
I didn't get squid at all. I got
tadpole.
particularly troubled bass.
I think the legs were there were some squiddy legs about them, but it felt like
Because squids have legs and feet.
I know that we're supposed to go through the whole rigmarole of talking about things in some sort of order that supposedly is supposed to be chronological or something. But before we do any of that, is it a rat king? Is that what the monster is? Because a fish falls off of him at the end as though he lost a limb. Is he a rat king?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think it's just
think so.
I think that fish is more of just if he had just his body is deformed and making parts that are not alive. You know what I mean? It's just his it's like a conjoined twin or something. You know what I mean?
He made a fish that's dead?
I think it just that's a shape that just formed in his body and it fell off of him. But I don't think that fish was like alive and part of this big organism.
I don't think that, but I also have no evidence to support any theory whatsoever.
What do you think?
I think that potentially this is a Rat King situation. I think that maybe a bunch of fish formed together.
Cool.
It made
create
this
a bit-
boy.
To
I'm
create
fine
like a
with
big
that.
boy.
I think regardless, ambiguity was the point.
Yeah.
I feel like for this monster to not really know what it was. But we
Ambiguity
do
in
know
terms
that
of
it is-
what is it, but like a distinct lack of ambiguity of like early on in the movie, we're showing the full entire monster, which is so super unique.
Yeah. So, okay. That's actually my super dump.
Okay, interesting. Bong Joon-ho got a lot of praise for that when this came out.
Yeah. Good for him. So I have two potential issues with it. It could have been fixed one of two ways. If you're going to show me the monster that early, number one, either don't or change the monster in some meaningful way. Like I was waiting for some sort of escalation.
Yeah.
And
it's gonna grow?
Never came. Yeah, that it's
Yeah.
going to grow.
Yeah,
It's gonna
I
change
expected some
forms.
chrysalis vibe, the way that it was hanging.
Yeah. Or I thought maybe it was just the baby going
Kaiju
out to
type
hunt
thing.
for the mom or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was expecting some sort of escalate because we saw it so early. I kept waiting for it to be like, we haven't seen the monster in a year. After the original attack, we haven't seen the monster in a year. And then it comes back bigger than ever or something. But because we see it so early and never actually escalate it, and I understand that this is ultimately not really a monster movie. I mean, it is,
Right.
but like it isn't that. But there is still a monster. And I do feel as though we sort of blew it early and then had
Do you think
nothing left to show.
The monster's existence kind of flirts a little bit with a red herring vibe at all. Like it's not, I guess it's not as much about the monster. The monster needed to be there though for there to be a virus.
But I think that's because the whole thing is sort of a WMD allegory, right? Of like, I think that's the virus panic coupled with a very real monster, but blowing it into this whole virus thing. It reads completely as a WMD metaphor and a commentary on like lingering American military presence in places like South Korea. And I don't know. I think that might change the lens through which I viewed it by like, and maybe I was looking too hard for some kind of like, okay, this is Bong Joon-ho. So it's going to be some sort of, because every other Bong
Politically
Joon-ho,
charged.
right, it's politically charged. It's a commentary on something. And so maybe I was just looking too hard for it.
I didn't get the
don't think so.
WMD metaphor. Has he written that somewhere or is that how you read it?
He has written that it's a commentary on like, you know, the assertion about the war on terror being a search for WMDs. And then ultimately, well, there weren't really any of those. And that's kind of the virus thing, I think, where he wrote the virus
Weapon
into
of
the
mass
movie.
destruction.
Yeah. Whittle mean dudes. There weren't any Whittle mean dudes.
No
we
Whittle mean
We kept
dudes.
looking for all the Whittle mean dudes and couldn't find any Whittle mean dudes.
White man domineering.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't get that, but if he said it, obviously that was his intention. My assumption was, because the beginning of this is based off a real thing.
Right.
And my assumption was that much like Snowpiercer, that this was more environmentally focused than anything. As like here come the consequences of our own actions.
Sure.
Coming
Certainly.
to eat us and specifically targeting our next generation.
I think it could also easily read as like American interventionism causing a problem, blaming the people who they caused the problem to, saying you're not
and
fixing
then
it fast
creating a
enough.
boogeyman.
Creating a boogeyman, blowing it out of proportion, and then months later going on TV and going, oops. And then ultimately they don't really have to deal with any of the fallout while the country in which they caused this problem is left without a future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would never
It felt
happen,
like
right?
intentionally I can't remember the name of it exactly. It was the Yellow
Agent Yellow?
Initiative.
Agent Yellow.
Agent Yellow was intentionally meant to be derogatory.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and it's Agent Orange too, right? Like
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
Apparently, the distributor was designed to look like the creature when it is hanging from under the bridge.
Cool.
I thought that it was supposed to look like what is it called? Biomechanical, like sort of like living machinery. Because it definitely
Geiger.
gave me scorpion tail vibes is what I got, like the stinger of a scorpion. But before we dig in so hard to a couple trees that we miss the forest, I do want to zoom out for just a moment. And just say like a hearty thank you to Mr. Bong Joon-ho for being willing to genre hop as much as he does.
And this felt to me, because it is very early for him in his career.
Yeah. This is his third
The
feature.
host. His third feature. And probably the outside of, was the one about crimes. There's another one that he did that was really popular. That was like a murder mystery.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one came first, but the host felt to me like Bong Joon-ho. Here's this brilliant, which by the way, confirmation, even if things don't necessarily fall how I would hope to in some of his movies, he's brilliant. He's such a smart man.
Completely masterful guidance. Yeah.
Completely masterful. And it felt like this was the session of using us for this podcast is not the best example, but it's a real example for all three of us. When we say, hey, we got to get together and just talk about what do we want to do next. This felt like the first like war room experience for Bong Joon-ho of being like, here's my ideas.
Yeah.
We're going to flesh them out here. And you're like, dude, this is brilliant. There's plenty of papers I read as a grad level professor that I'm like, yo, there's some things left untied that I think maybe you intended to. I don't get them there, but I know you're certainly capable. You are so smart. Like all the ideas are here. I've never seen anything like this. Let's try and mold it a little bit better. Because I do think when we have the wide shot of the host and then he says, you know what? Let's just tunnel vision and make it a train and have the same elements. And then he says, let's just focus on a family, two families, trying to make aspirations for going higher up in the social hierarchy economically and all that kinds of stuff. Like I think we see cleaner Bong Joon-ho, and that's what's winning him awards. This is still so very clearly Bong Joon-ho, but it's
so
a little
messy.
messier to me.
Yeah.
Totally.
Not even a little messier. It was really messy.
Totally.
Because there's elements too of clear humor. Like when they are mourning what they think is the death of our sweet little girl, Soo-yeon, I think. Mm-hmm. When we're mourning her death, it's so over the top, like things like that can be in movies like that. Of like the cry scene when they're like fighting and crying and people are taking photos of them. And it was like he was trying to have some kind of commentary in those 2 minutes on like anything.
I feel like in both this and in Parasite, it feels like the family is like the Bluths from Arrested Development thrust into a very serious situation.
Yeah.
His characters tend towards slapsticks. They tend to be kind of bumbling a little bit.
Yeah.
But I absolutely like that. I don't understand how it works so well. The same cast, the same characters can play both sides really well. Because I think like the kind of the slapstick, the comedy of them escaping the hospital, followed up by like the serious drama of Grandpa getting tentacles slammed into the ground. It works really well in both instances for me.
And I absolutely love when directors have a muse, when they have this person that they use all the time. But the combo, guys, there's not a much better 1-2 punch in the world right now than Bong Joon-ho and Song Kang-ho.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
for sure.
Song Kang-ho is my super pump.
Yeah.
And
I guess I'm out. I'm done with the podcast.
is that
now.
everybody?
Same. Yep.
So he's
the best, dude. He's the best.
Amazing.
He is absolutely phenomenal because he is kind of the bullseye of, I mean, he probably has the most screen time of anybody in the movie. And he kind of has to be the due north for changing the pace, changing the feel from scene to scene. And I had moments where it kind of felt a little bit like Brundle, where I felt sorry for this dude. Like, especially when we have the monologue from his father who's saying like, hey, like, I feel guilt.
His brain is bad.
I know everybody
he didn't
thinks
have
he's
protein.
kind of, not all there, and maybe that's my fault. He's kind of wrestling with that. And then the torturous scene of like, it was something like Clockwork Orange or something that we had him when he knows there's not a virus and they're trying to get that out of his head. Like he did everything in this movie. He was really funny. He kind of, man, it was just kind of a workshop on what he's capable of. And I loved that part of the movie.
This
so
felt
much.
like, because his character was so broad ranging from slapstick all the way to like intense drama, it really feels like this could just be his audition reel of like, look at all the different things I can do if you put me in your movie. But also I did them all in the same movie.
Yes.
I love that his dad is like, let him sleep. He's stupid.
Honestly, I wish somebody would say that. I wish I could get that free pass.
No,
So-
I give him credit. I give Song Kang-ho credit, the same credit that I gave to the soundtrack of The Fly last week. The soundtrack of The Fly, what I said was that it tells you how to feel to make sure that you're never feeling the wrong thing in the movie. The soundtrack guides you to your feelings in The Fly. Song Kang-ho does that in every movie that I've seen him in. Like his skill set is driving the viewer's emotions to the correct parking spot for a scene. He is so good at telling you by his reaction to the thing, this is what you should be feeling.
It feels like Bong Joon-ho uses him in the same way that Jordan Peele uses Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
In terms of just like, you and I are 100% on the same wavelength. Like when they're together, it's more than the sum of what they individually bring. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I actually think the host is, oh no, you're right. So Barking Dogs Never Bite was Bong Joon-ho's first feature film. And it's the only one that doesn't feature Song Kang-ho. So what I was talking about was Memories of Murder, which you better believe I'm going to watch. It's really highly rated. It's on Hulu for free. Small Korean province. 2 detectives struggle with the case of multiple young women being found murdered by an unknown culprit. So
awesome.
And I think that's when their relationship started. So yeah, he's just, he is perfect for this artist, for this director. Bong Joon-ho movies, there's really nothing like it to me because of how dark it can get. And then it can get dark, and I don't think we get an explicit title for this. It can be dark and badass, and then it can be really funny, and then it can be really poignant.
Yeah.
Like it just all happens. And what's tough is watching one Bong Joon-ho movie makes me want to watch all of his movies.
Right.
But then I'm like, am I emotionally prepared for that? Because it is such a ride.
Do I have the
every single
fortitude?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I can.
It's so funny. I didn't realize that Memories of Murder was a like detective movie.
Mm-hmm.
And after we finished watching The Host, I told Callie that I would love to see a Bong Joon-ho directed like detective noir movie.
That's it.
There you go.
And it
Memories
seems
of
like
Murder.
it exists right there. Just ripe for the picking.
On Hulu for free, man.
On Hulu for free.
I think Hulu has everything he's done.
Wow.
Didn't have this, did it?
Oh, that's right. It didn't have The Host. This one was tough to find. I was like, I don't want to watch this, whatever this Saoirse Ronan thing is. I like her.
It's a Stephanie Meyer book, isn't it?
But this
Yes,
isn't
it is.
it. Yeah, this isn't it for me.
Bless you.
Excuse me for sneezing. I apologize, and it
Welcome,
will
new
never
host.
happen
Do
again.
you have a virus?
Now you're the host.
I'm the host of the sneeze virus.
You are the host. So
I'm
there's
the host of the sneeze virus. I think that when it comes to creatively telling simple stories, I frequently think of the Bong Joon-ho. I don't think it's apocryphal. I think we learned that it is legit for real. But when he was filming Snowpiercer and the fish scene, and the producers were like, "That's too long, man. You can't have that." And he cried and was like, "What was it?
Oh,
like
yeah, I told you about that. That's true.
My grandfather was a fisherman. Like
This means so much to me.
It means
Yeah.
so." And then he was like, "Yeah, my grandfather's not a fisherman. That's not true."
yeah. After they let him do it, yeah.
That man is, every time I watch a Bong Joon-ho movie, I see the tenacity of that man.
Oh,
every
yeah.
time. He seems, in a good way, unwilling to compromise.
Yeah.
And it seems like every movie he's made that I've seen, at least, feels like it was the exact movie he was trying to make.
That feels like most of the best directors you ever hear of. That's one of their bullet points.
Yeah.
Is they just were stubborn.
Yeah.
And really wanted to do what they really wanted
Yeah.
to do.
Trust me,
and
this will be better.
Especially in the director's chair, you do have to have a little bit of chutzpah to really get across what you want to get across.
Certainly.
So I do have a question for you guys about the movie in general. Well, maybe it's about another movie. Would you call 2014's Godzilla a horror movie?
No, I would call it a creature feature though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't necessarily think this was scary.
No.
In the same way that
This
maybe
has
some
been
of
the
our
least
other
scary.
creatures have been. Yeah.
And it could be, there were some scary moments. I did have a moment in the movie, and it does a lot have to do with probably Jordan's super dump, is that I think it would be scarier if we didn't see the monster till later. But we do see it so early. But there was a moment when I was like, man, is it because it is sitting right by The Fly and The Descent that this doesn't feel so scary to me?
I just don't think it's
Like,
a scary
would it have
movie.
been scary if I just was like, oh, I want to watch this? I don't think Chelsea would have watched it.
Did she watch it with you? This feels to me like a very, very well-made Sharktopus. Like one of those like kind of silly, intentionally B-movie creature
Mega
movies
Piranha.
from the
I love that
Mega Croc versus Sharkosaur or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Like
sure.
those kind of just like, man, this is a really silly creature and the creature doesn't look that good. But those are never intended to be scary. And so I was making sure you guys weren't scared by this.
No, I wasn't scared by this. I can't remember there being too many jumpy spots. There
Right.
was one when she's up in the tunnel with the little boy
Yeah. So
in the under the bridge, and then you turn and there's monster.
Yeah.
I've been trying
But
to
you could've
coach
seen
Callie on jump scare preparation.
Yeah.
Because every single one gets Callie. Every jump scare ever gets Callie so bad. And almost none ever get me. And she
Brag.
was like, why don't they ever get you? And I said, I feel like I can just always see them coming. Always. And I told her one of the classic heads ups there for a
One
jump
of the
scare.
classic blunders.
One of the classic blunders is when something is making noise and then stops making noise for a second.
It's going to jump.
It's coming. It's about to jump.
You're
at
gonna
you.
get
It's not
jumped.
making noise
Yeah.
because it's moving. And I tried to tell it to her, and she always goes, and this is a direct quote. So if you know her, like, you know, this is exactly what she sounds like. But she's like, I know.
Wow, that sounds just like
Also,
her.
when you
Doesn't
have
it sound
like
just like her?
you have like foreground, something's chasing you, you hide behind some pillar or wall.
Yeah.
You look, they're not there. If
Yeah.
you're looking back,
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
they're there.
They're going to be there when you turn around.
I've known since the days of the cave troll.
Yes.
That's like,
Sure,
yo, you guys,
sure.
Yes.
you can't do that.
Velociraptors in the kitchen took me to jump scare school.
Oh, that's true. That's probably my first experience too.
I'm trying to think of what an early jump scare for me that
Remember, it was
really
my
got
fifth
me was.
birthday. Dad put on The Exorcist. That's really
That's really where it all started for me.
So I cry anytime I see someone throw up.
Or if I throw up, I cry. And crying makes me throw up, by the way.
Throwing up makes me cry.
And throwing up makes me cry. So don't get me started.
good friend and someone you know, Carlos Velasquez.
Yay.
When he laughs hard enough, he vomits.
Is that real?
Better not listen to our podcast. man.
Oh yeah.
Better
Don't
not
listen.
then,
Don't
huh?
listen. Put a
Dangerous.
vomit warning on this guy. When I first met Carlos, he had a rat tail. And
He would carry it around in his pocket. It was a weird guy.
It's gross. He was saving it for a spell.
I grew the rat tail that I had when I met my now wife.
I
Because of
forgot
Carlos.
about your rat tail.
Yeah, dude. It was
Who looks
gnarly.
at that and says, I want one?
Jordan did. Jordan did.
Yeah, goop.
It was
know what?
between that or a Jedi braid, and I couldn't decide. So
You know what I would like to have on my head? The part of a mouse
Closer to a
closest
rat
to
than a
his
Jedi.
butthole.
Well, it's a rat, not a mouse, isn't it? Time to go to shout announcements. It's shout announcements.
Welcome
Do
to the
the
show.
shout announcements, and in this one, Carter is going to take it.
I'll take it. Doge is out because his feelings are hurt, which happens more often than you would think on this podcast. But I'll just bring it out. I know y'all like to peek behind the curtain.
He's such
So
a
you're
little
not gonna hear from
B
him.
word, dude, and the B word is baby.
I think what he needs to feel better is your support. I think if I were him right now, he can't hear me. But if I were Doge right now and I'm already feeling down, the best thing to do is not look at the reviews we have on Spotify or on iTunes, because he's only going to find out that hasn't really changed much in the last few months.
How dare
because
you.
just people decided not to do it anymore. Maybe it's COVID fatigue. I've had COVID and now I get it, but I know that I could at least rate and review something. So if you could do that, that'd be huge. We have Discord, our highest Patreon tier. There's 2 of those. The $3 tier gives you extra bonus episodes. There might be something spooky coming for you this Halloween season. Be on the lookout for that. I'm going to talk it into existence because it's needed to happen for some time. I hope it happens. And then you have the right to vote. It is also voting season in many parts of the world, but it is also 2 chunks voting season when we get to those series to where you get to decide what we do next. If you're on that $5 tier, sometimes we even let things over to Discord to help make us decisions. If you want a lot of power on this podcast, go on over to Discord and join that community. It's a ton of fun. And tune in next week when we'll be reviewing Tremors. It's going to be my birthday a week from today. It's going to be a special Carter's birthday decision. Was a classic that I grew up with. I think the first time I saw Tremors, I was 10. And I saw it on TNT or TBS. It was a Turner network where it has lived its entire life. The Kevin Bacon, Reba McEntire with an elephant gun flick. Tremors. Please tune in next week for that.
And I second everything that he said.
Not me, but who cares about little old Doge, I guess.
Oh, sorry, shout is already over. Guess we're back in the episode. Okay.
When you shop at a Walmart Vision Center, you get it. You know that you'll spend a little less on stylish glasses for the whole family.
Welcome to the Vision Center. Let me know if you need help finding the perfect frames.
Hey, Mom, you were right. These glasses are cool.
Hon, they take our insurance. That means Papa's getting a new pair, too.
Whoa, glasses start at just $39. Next stop, groceries.
So you can get a little more of what you need. Find a Vision Center near you. Save money, live better. Walmart.
Tired of long waits and rushed care at the ER and urgent care clinic? Next time, stay home and let Dispatch Health bring the power of the hospital to you.
I call Dispatch Health. A care team of medical professionals actually come to your house.
They're the same caliber of people that you would see if you were at a hospital or an urgent care.
Dispatch Health can treat most non-life-threatening emergencies.
They can do the x-rays, they can do stitches,
Urinary tract infections, blood test, urinalysis, ultrasound.
it's almost everything that they can do at the ER.
You never feel rushed. They're there for you and only you.
I felt like their only patient.
And it costs no more than a trip to urgent care because Dispatch Health is covered by most insurance, including Medicare. See if we serve your home at dispatchhealth.com.
Dispatch Health really went above and beyond.
It's wonderful to have care come to your home.
House calls are back, and they're better than ever. Learn more at dispatchhealth.com.
There is
such a bully laugh.
there exists within specifically frequently Korean films. There exists
This film is most often Korean.
There exists a like a music. I don't know how to describe it other than the soundtracks tend to be very piano heavy in a way that makes me very happy. And I really, really appreciate a piano heavy horror movie soundtrack. And I think it's very fun. And it makes some very emotional moments out of something that might not necessarily have been that otherwise.
Yeah, soundtrack was really, really great.
I'm really impressed with it.
Yeah, I agree. What you got, big dog? You're looking out your window.
What you looking at?
Yeah, sorry. A truck just parked directly in front of my house.
You need to go bark at it?
Yeah, thinking about it. Really plant my flag, protect my territory. No, it's just a standard issue burgundy pickup truck just pulled up and just threw it in park, but not like oh, they might be here for a neighbor. Their passenger door is lined up directly with the sidewalk entrance to my.
Did you DoorDash something?
I personally didn't.
Could be food.
No.
Could be food.
I personally didn't.
Can I super dump
I'd
about
love that.
this movie?
Yeah.
It's the best effects they could get, but they're quite bad.
Yeah.
The monster.
2006.
Well, sure.
It is
so
2006.
Right, which means we've had all 3 Lord of the Rings movies and had Smeagol fully in there by this point.
Well, ain't that
The
the
budget
truth?
was quite.
That's what I'm saying. Like it really reached for the stars, but I think I would have appreciated a more low budget approach. Like doing a little, you know what I mean? Because we've talked before about how like when the budget is super low, you have to get super scrappy and be super practical. And like, you know, did you know that Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, that's not a prop they made. That's just a piece of one of the lights they'd been using. They're like, use this for the lightsaber. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so like just that kind of like scrappiness, this didn't quite feel the low budget scrappiness that I think I had hoped for. And it was most evident in like, let's go fully in on an entirely digital creature every time we see him, except for the very, very last shot of Dad pulling his mouth open. But like, let's go fully digital on him. And the digital stuff just looks a lot, in terms of the quality of the effects, looks like the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, where we're just animating this. The way we do this
TV sci-fi.
Exactly.
movie.
The way we would do this now in a big budget movie is you would build the skeleton of the creature and then simulate the muscle underneath, simulate the skin on top of that. And then finally the wet glistens on top of the skin. So it's like multiple layers of simulation so that it feels real. But
This was crazy. Jurassic Park
right.
did that so well.
But this looks like it's just one big shiny puppet that we're just kind of bending and stretching into the shapes we need him to. And it just, man,
it is tough.
Doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look like it's really, the compositing is kind of off. It doesn't ever look like it's actually in the same world as everybody else in the movie. So there's a lot of disbelief that has to be suspended, I think, when you go all in on a big digital monster in 2006.
Yeah, it's a valid super dump too, because especially if that's something for your movie experience, if that's what deterred anything else you could be feeling in that moment the most, then that should be a super dump. My super dump is creature related, but it's different. Our creature didn't have any personality. Let me unpack that a little bit. I think even in It Follows, which we reviewed last year.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Wow. The entity that is out to get everybody, to me, has some kind of personality. In a sense that I can expect what it will do. And again, I understand that chaos is also terrifying, but consistent chaos is what's the most terrifying. The consistent unpredictability is what terrifies me the most. I did not really know the creature's motivations.
Yeah.
And I know that's tough for a creature feature. But I didn't really know.
But like, why was it dragging everybody back to the sewer and puking them up on the floor down there? And then why did it throw up all those bones?
Yeah, where'd all the bones come from?
What's happening?
Yeah, I didn't really know what it was out to do. And so in that sense, sometimes that could be great because now it can come out of nowhere and kill somebody you didn't think it would. Oh, I thought it didn't kill kids. Oh, it did. But because I had no idea, it just kind of took away from being fully afraid of it, which was weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even when you think of like The Descent, their personality to me was, you're in our house. Like, you can't, this doesn't happen. It's happened before, you know, a long time ago. We're hungry. Like, even to know, like, no matter what, no one is exempt from us finding you and slowly eating you.
Yeah.
With our naked, pale bodies. In The Fly, it's rife with motivation because we saw this as a human first, as it's transforming into The Fly. So here it was just like, nah, it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything for me.
Yeah.
I don't feel scared of it. And we already talked a little bit about how this didn't feel very scary. And again, neither does Godzilla. But yeah, I think a lot of elements were taking away from this being a spooky movie. And I just was hoping that's what it would be.
I think I was too. I was hoping that we'd get a true horror creature feature, like something like Jaws or even something like Nope earlier this summer. That's what it reminded me of when it threw up all the bones down there. It was like, oh, it's like the UFO raining all the blood down on the house. But I think that that manages to be, I don't know, for some reason, something about Nope crosses into horror where nothing here crosses into horror for me. It's just an action monster movie.
Yeah. I think a lot of it's intent, right? Like, you know when something is supposed to be scary and the host doesn't feel like it was ever supposed to be. It feels like I don't mean emotionless as in the story, but like the allegory itself is emotionless.
Yeah.
The emotion comes from the story of the family, the fictional family. The allegory itself is just clinical in nature, which is why I think this movie is presented as just like, well, here's what happens. Welcome to consequences, baby.
It's been fun to, the more series that we do that are similar. So this is our third Chunktober. It's fun to think of like just all of the different ways that we've seen like our antagonists like as entities. Because It Follows was also low budget, which The Host is a low budget movie that tried to do digital effects. When It Follows, just very simply, like we could make that creature.
Yeah.
Like we could create that on a $0 budget. You know, if you've got a camera.
Except for when it's Big Boy and steps through the door. Yeah.
That still gets
that's pretty creepy. I don't like that very much at all.
A pretty good movie.
Because the creature was not as scary, do all of our other, we talked about the war room for Bong Joon-ho of like the 7 or 8 different things he's trying to get across. Do they fall more flat when the creature falls flat?
I think that...
Are there lessons that are harder to stick with you?
I think for me, they fall a little flat because there's... I think it is because of what Jordan said. It's so clinical. There's not really anything super like to latch onto super emotionally. I mean, obviously the story of a father and his daughter getting separated by this monster that I don't really believe was there is inherently emotional, but it does feel super dry. You finish it and you go, oh, huh. That's what happened, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, right? I would rather fight to the death of one of the monsters from The Descent than fight this thing because it would shred me. So in that way, it is quote unquote a scarier monster conceptually than the guys from The Descent. I think that the process of the experience of being scared in a movie, being scared in a book, being scared in a video game, whatever it is. The experience of being scared is because someone has curated a feeling, a vibe, a sound, a look, and an anticipation of the scare. But that's just not what this movie is about. I don't think that I fault this movie for not being scary because I don't know that it was ever billed as a horror movie.
This is Donnie Yen. This is Ip Man again, like we did last series, where it's like, it doesn't work for us because we've put it next to the wrong things. We've asked a fish to climb a tree, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And this one actually.
This fish could climb a tree for sure. So checkmate, Albert Einstein.
Oh, what now? Science.
Got him. So if you're trying to recommend this podcast, or not this podcast, we know how to do that.
Yeah.
We know how to do that. If you're trying to recommend The Host, someone has said, you know what, I'm interested in watching this movie. I heard it on y'all's podcast, or just it's the Chunktober season. It's Halloween. They're like, I want to watch this. What can you tell me about it? Like, what are some of the first points that you're hitting? Do you want to make sure
it's Halloween
make
time? Should I watch The Host? I would say no. Watch it a different time.
No, you can watch it anytime.
Yeah, watch it at a different time of year. You don't have to watch this one at Halloween.
I would say, have you seen Jurassic Park? Imagine fish.
Good point.
But not.
Well, but is Jaws a Halloween time?
No.
Yeah, I think you can watch Jaws anytime.
Have we stumbled upon that in the many buckets that is horror movies and the Venn diagram of some things that can overlap? Is it not a guarantee if a creature feature is horror vibe? I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's not a guarantee, right? Yeah. I would call Jaws a horror movie. I would not necessarily call Jurassic Park a horror movie. I would call it an adventure movie with elements of horror.
With big monsters. Yeah.
Yeah. I would call this a family drama with a monster in it.
With big monster. Yeah.
Cloverfield is a found footage horror movie.
Yeah. Boy, I do love that movie.
But I don't find Cloverfield that scary. But it's clear that it's meant to be a horror movie.
Only part that's scary is when they're underground and it's dark and there's all the little crawly critters.
Pod things.
The little bug ones. Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah. So I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know. If our problem is lack of being scared, neither of you have seen The Thing, right?
Right.
Just wait for that one.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah.
It's going to fill our quota, I think.
Good.
Yeah.
but it's also really cool and interesting. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that when it comes to creature features, I think that's the definition, right? This is a creature feature, no doubt. The Host is a monster movie for sure, but it is a monster movie. It is a family drama disguised as a monster movie.
It is not a horror creature feature.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So I think that's a distinction. And I mean, to be fair, that's something that I've never really considered, that there are non-horror creature features, but of course there are.
Because I guess Jurassic Park is a creature feature.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't classify it as horror.
Mighty Joe Young, a creature feature.
Yeah.
Look what we've done.
Wow.
Lion King is a creature feature.
They're actually, it exclusively features creatures.
If there's an animal in your movie, it's a creature feature. I hate to tell you that. But I think there's...
Like we're disappointed in that.
I think there is so much room in my heart for a movie like this that is both quiet and loud, that is both personal and dumb. Like,
yeah.
It's not my favorite Bong Joon-ho movie. It's not my favorite movie on our creature feature list. But it's a solid movie made with a skilled hand that just isn't fitting the bill 100% of what we were looking for.
Yeah. I didn't end up being less of a Bong Joon-ho.
No.
Right.
Maybe even more after this movie, right?
I think more for me.
They don't always have to keep getting better for you to be like, nah, this is it.
A lot to think about, a lot to chew on.
Wow.
From The Host. Interesting. Very interesting. Not quite as interesting as the way we rate movies over here in our neck of the woods. And that is using the scientific cinema scale, which utilizes the same science that was used in when they created the monster that hunts everybody down in The Host when they dumped the formaldehyde into the Han River, which is based on a true event that actually happened. The scientific cinema scale is perfect and as follows. The best thing we can ever say about a movie is own it. Don't lend it.
Buy that poster.
The next best thing is buy it. That's followed by rent it and then stream it. After that is forget it. And last, but certainly least, the worst thing we could ever say about a movie. God hath forsaken us.
Boys, what's another word for river?
Stream.
That's my rating.
Same.
I'm a stream too.
Get out of town.
I thought I was
wow.
I thought I was stream. A rent. I thought I was a rent, but then ultimately there is, I think when I was first really getting into movies, I had these movies that really moved the needle for me in terms of just creatively, like movies that kind of changed my life. Pinpointed the director and was like, I want to watch everything that they do.
Yeah.
And that if there was such an impact here, the likelihood of something being more impactful, while that would be wonderful, is not all the time likely. But regardless, if you want to get through it and see all of them, like I do want to see everything Bong Joon-ho has done.
Yeah.
And I'd absolutely be willing to see this. I think a lot of the times if anyone's ever to ask us like, hey, I'm kind of trying to go through all the Nolan movies, or I'm trying to go through all the Denis Villeneuve, are there any skips?
It's like,
because you do like the person that knows well enough to be like, you know what, don't watch this one.
Right. Yeah.
Like Tarantino or something. But yeah, it's worth watching for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to go chronologically for him. Absolutely. Watch it. Just stream it. Don't pay for it.
But don't pirate it. You wouldn't download a monster.
You wouldn't download a monster, would you? I would.
What are you going to do? Download a monster?
What are you gonna download a monster? What are you, insane?
We out here in ants again. We're talking about ants.
What are you, insane or something? Carter, did you tell our friends what we're doing next week?
Trimmers.
I'm
the first time I'm hearing
some
that
right now. I'm so nervous.
That's a creature feature.
That's a creature feature. Hey guys, now that
all
one
out practical.
Now that one's a creature feature.
That's one of the ones that has a creature.
They actually got real worms to eat real people.
I think we should all eat gummy worms while we watch Trimmers to remind them, like who's on top, who's in real charge of their lives.
Hey, don't even come at us right now.
I made a gummy version of you, and I eat it for fun.
There's literally nothing I would rather do than eat gummy worms in general, especially, watching a movie about worms.
Given the situation.
given where we do find ourselves, given how and where we do find ourselves, I would love to eat some worms. Is Trimmers? Am I wrong in thinking that James Gunn is somewhere involved in somewhere in this?
Wow, I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's check what the Internet Movie Database has to say about this.
Hey guys, real quick, Slither is what I'm thinking of.
You've seen Trimmers.
I have seen Trimmers. I have not seen Slither.
Yes.
I have seen Trimmers. I watched
the
Trimmers.
high school. The high school in Slither is named the Earl Bassett Community School, which is Fred Ward's character in Trimmers.
Amazing. I watched Trimmers in a hotel with my dad when we were going to see, I think it was an Ohio State football game. And we just had 3 hours to kill. And we were like, you want to watch this?
It's a real hotel kind of movie.
It's a big hotel movie, right?
Mm-hmm. It's such a big hotel movie.
It is.
In my mind, I'm pretty sure I must have.
Sure. I don't think I've
Doesn't it
ever
make
seen
the most sense?
It'll be weird to watch it without commercials, I think, actually, for me next week.
Yeah.
Yep. Or just a TNT ad.
Right.
For Monday Night
There's
Wrestling.
somebody playing basketball in the bottom right corner while I'm watching these worms absolutely ruin Kevin Bacon's
Two
life.
guys back to back, you, why I oughta, that kind of vibe down in the bottom corner to let you know what kind of shows are coming up. Listen to our Trimmers episode. You're going to love it. You're going to be so glad you did.
Here's your one chance, Chunkies. Don't let us down.
Are we back on punk rock? What's the deal?
No, it's Fancy. Reba McEntire. I probably was a little punky when I
thought Fancy was the one that was like, oh, you fancy, huh? That's Reba.
Sure.
That's the same. Yeah, that's Reba.
To end today's episode, I'd like for each of us to say our name and which Drake hit we would like to hear Reba take a crack at. For Two Chunks and a Hunk, my name is Jordan Wonders, and it is going to go ahead and be Fancy. Going to go ahead and lock that one down. I got dibs.
Yeah. I'm Doge. I'd love to see her really wheeling and dealing into Degrassi.
Tell me this again.
Which Smash Drake song we'd like to see Reba McEntire
He said
do?
Drake hit, so I said Degrassi because I'm
technically he wasn't
rebel.
Drake in that show. He was Aubrey Graham. Doge left again. How does he leave so fast? That's insane.
What was yours,
Fancy.
Jordan? I'm Carter and
Kermit?
I'm Carter. One Dance.
Yes. Hey, side note, this is just for free. We did watch Muppets Haunted Mansion yesterday.
How was it?
Charming as heck.
Classic Muppets. Honestly, classic Muppets.
The bits, the jokes, a mile a minute. So funny. Will Arnett is one of the main characters.
Good.
It's just, can the Muppets do wrong? Can they do wrong? I saw somebody every time, dude.
I saw somebody who talked about Disney launched their live action remake stuff right around the same time they bought the Muppets. It is a travesty that they're doing live action Pinocchio instead of Muppet Pinocchio.
Thank you.
Why don't we have Muppet Beauty and the Beast?
I can't get enough of the Muppets, dude. They are so funny to me.
Absolutely. Love the Muppets. They're creatures. Every Muppet movie is a creature feature. And only most of them are scary.
Starting to rethink our back half a little bit here.
It's just a hard pivot into Muppets.
It's just all Muppets all the time.
When you shop at a Walmart Vision Center, you get it. You know that you'll spend a little less on stylish glasses for the whole family.
Welcome to the Vision Center. Let me know if you need help finding the perfect frames.
Hey, Mom, you were right. These glasses are cool.
Hon, they take our insurance. That means Papa's getting a new pair too.
Whoa, glasses start at just $39. Next stop, groceries.
So you can get a little more of what you need. Find a vision center near you. Save money, live better. Walmart.
When the leaves start rustling, the pumpkins start plumping, and the scarecrows start crowing, you heed the call of fall, because you eat, sleep, and drink pumpkin at Dunkin'. So take your pick of pumpkin with delicious muffins, munchkins, and donuts, and pair them with a classic pumpkin spice signature latte or the ultra-smooth pumpkin cream cold brew, topped with pumpkin cream cold foam, all so you can fall harder. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.
Drew and Jonathan Scott here to tell you that American Family Insurance wants to protect your dreams. So whether you're at home singing in the shower,
every note,
or prefer singing your heart out in the car like Drew,
cruising,
you can save up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto insurance with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Have you been waiting for just the right job? Then welcome to the end of your search. Amazon has seasonal warehouse jobs in your area, and now is a great time to apply. You can start getting paid right away and work close to home. Applying is easy. You don't even need an interview. So what are you waiting for? Come join the team and get a great seasonal job offer today. Visit Amazon.com/hiring. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.